I bet you are going to love this. This is new from Hunkydory. It's called Animal Arcadia, and they are kind of a steampunk looking, but just absolutely charming. In fact, here is one of the cards that Heidi has done. Okay, please come play with us. Well, before we get into the projects, I just want to tell you what the product is. Well, you can see this Clockwork and Cogs cutting die. It is one piece, and let's see, let me turn this over. There you go. Just very, very intricate, and I'll show you what Heidi has done. Very neat. There are 4 sets, even though this says makes 2 cards. Each one will make at least 2 cards, and I can show you these 2, and the other 2 will be in the projects. You can see that gold foiling, absolutely gorgeous, and you can see what I meant about the steampunk look. And then also the Picture Perfect. This is an 8x8 pad, and the sheets of paper, in fact, let me reach one, you're going to get a lot of art on each one, as you can see. Plus, they're double-sided, so you get patterns on the back. So that's what we're going to be using to make these gorgeous projects. And here is the first one that I showed you, and this comes from the topper set, and you can see that gorgeous foiling again. Now, what Heidi did is she created her card base. So actually, let me open this again. So there, which I think is just a really nice layout, just a really nice card base, very simple to make. So let me show you. You're going to take a 10x5 piece of cardstock, measuring from the left, go 2.5 inches and score it, and then 5 inches and score it, and that creates the base. And you're going to do a mountain fold and then a valley fold, so you can see how that works. And Heidi recommends, and actually I recommend, using the adorable scoreboard. It's nice that it's got the bone folder right there with it. It just pops in and out, and it's all measured, so it's easy to use. Then you need a second piece, and this one is 10 inches also, but it's only 2 inches. Same thing, 2.5 and 5. And you will then also score it the same way, or fold it the same way, mountain and then valley. And what's going to happen is that this is going to flip around, and this is going to attach to your card there, and this will, the long piece will attach to the card right there. Actually, I have to turn it over. There we go. So the short piece on the right side, the long piece on the left, this piece, and just this section attaches, and it just goes like so. Works very, very well. Okay, let's get back to our project and see what's going on. Now, as you could see, this is going to be a 5-inch square card. And what Heidi did is she used the Nature's Touch cardstock. So she used the patterned cardstock. She also used the solid cardstock, and you'll see that in just a moment. And while I'm here, let me show you what is in each of those packs. Like I said, there are 4 of them. So what you will get is the one sheet that's going to have all the foil die cuts. This one you're using the fox and the crow, but there's also a squirrel and an owl, so that's nice, and all of the borders and greetings. Then you're going to get one piece of cardstock that is foiled, and another that is patterned. So that's pretty typical of Hunkydory, and you're going to get 4 different ones in that combination. So let me go back here. Now we've got all the mechanics in place, and you can see that what Heidi has done is she took the fox and took the outside frame. There are 3 layers of this piece, and she matted it on the foiled cardstock on this area, and you can see that right here. Okay, then she placed it, glued it straight down, so that is going to create this base. Now the fox that is right there, that has been double foam tape, so you put one layer of foam tape and another one right on top of it, so that just gives a little bit of extra oomph. And then the border is right there. Now, before you do that, you do want to attach that cross piece. Remember that piece that I just showed you? Well, there it is, all placed. And what she has done is she has taken the border See this border? Now obviously that doesn't look long enough, so she has cut it into pieces. So you see this piece, but you only see little bits here and a little bit there. So just cut them apart and glue them in place onto that strip. Now, what is really nice with any of the steampunk looking things is our copper dazzles, because they just do such a nice job. And you can see top and bottom, and in the center, she has placed the copper border dazzles. She's also added, if you can see on the corners there, the copper jewel dazzles, that one with the 540 circles. And that just adds a bit more of a reflection. Now, Heidi is a great believer in the bow maker by Hunkydory. It just makes perfect bows. And she used the brown ribbons, and again, that's just a perfect complement to the Animal Arcadia. So you see that on the front. So she's made her base, and she's used the pattern cardstock to kind of frame it. Right here, another one, and then another piece right there. So all of it has that same look, the browns, the greens, just doing a really nice job of supporting. Now the crow is foam taped, but you can see it's going to go over that border. And then there is another greeting, one of the cutouts, and another bow. So that just works really, really nicely. Okay, so that's our first card. Our next card is also going to use one of the 4 pieces, and let me give you this. So you can see that that steampunk look is just really fun with the animals. Now this card is done, it is 5 by 6.5, so it's our standard size. And what she has done is to make a gatefold card. And what you do with that is you lay your card base out flat, and then you bring each of the edges into the center. Now you may want to score them first. That's perfectly fine. It's 2.5 inches in from each side. Now there will be a score line showing here, so most often we like to cover that, just as Heidi has done. And you can see as I'm poking that, there is some acetate. So let me talk to you about that in just a second. So you're going to make your card base, and what Heidi has done, let me show you. These are the toppers that she's using. So we've got that turtle. You also have some fish. There's an octopus and a very fun frog. And what she has done is to use the pattern cardstock. Remember, there's a patterned one and a foiled one. So the pattern one, she has used this to cut 2 pieces to go on each of the gates, as you can see. So they're going to be slightly less than 2.5 inches. The measurements, by the way, are down below. Just click on the card and you will see them. You can print them out if you like. And so those 2 pieces, you can see that they're going to come from this area of this patterned cardstock. Then she has taken the large circle. Now she did the one of the turtle because that's the turtle that she's using. And she did a fun thing, and it's something I've not seen before, is that she attached it with extra sticky tape onto the heat-resistant acetate. Now, I asked Heidi why she said the heat-resistant, because it is a thicker acetate. She said that it's very much that thickness is why she loves it, because it just feels very sturdy to her, and she's going to use it in 2 projects. So I just want to share that with you because that was news to me. And you can see that she attached that circle to the acetate. Let me hold this up so you can see that's acetate right there. And then cut it in half, and then attached it to each of the gates. And notice that they're going facing, the circle is facing into the center of the gate. You can see it just goes right there. And that just works really, really nicely. And you can see that it has that touch of gold, which is going to be supported in the die cuts that are going to pop out. Now, you can see those bubbles. That is our dewdrops. And I have to say, I wouldn't have thought that a clear dewdrop on a clear acetate would really show up, but boy, it does. Works really, really nicely. And so she has done this base, and she has taken the turtle and glued the right-hand side to the right gate, and then she took the fish and glued the left side to the left gate. And you want to make sure that they're going to be overlapping like so. Just works really nicely. Now, for the inside of her card, she did something different there also. Let me go back. So we used this part on the front of the card. She's going to use this part on the inside of the card. You can see it right there. So that's going to be cut to just under 5 by 6.5. So she can, eventually, she'll place it right over that fold. But first, she cut a piece of acetate. Now, it's 2 inches by about, probably 7.5 or 8 inches. That way, you've got enough to fold over and attach behind that piece of patterned cardstock. So you can see it's going at an angle. Well, hopefully you can see it. There you go. There you can see it's going like this as my hands are. She just wanted to give it that angle. But what else she did, clever woman, you see the turtle down there? Well, she put the turtle die cut right on top. So you get that 3-dimensional look, but this time with acetate. Very, very fun. The octopus is right there. Now, in the Hunkydory pieces, as I said, usually get 3. So we've used this, we've used the outside, but that circle, that gold circle, we hadn't used. But look what Heidi did. So she cut it not in half this time, but about just maybe 1/3 of it. So glued that here and glued that one right there. Did another dewdrop, and then this is You Are Turtly Awesome. And so that's right there, another of the bows out of the brown ribbon set. And isn't that fun? So you've got a lot of things popping. You also have these circle frames being used in a very different way. Both of them, the curve on the inside of the card facing the center of it. Isn't that fun? Look how that turtle, and look how she lined up the shell so it really matches that piece that's attached up. And she's got some of the dewdrops right there too. So very fun, very, very different. Thank you, Heidi. Okay, now we're going to move into the picture perfect 8 by 8 pattern, and also going to be using the cutting die. And Heidi has done some really smart things with these. Okay, let's bring this one in, and let me take my little note off of it. So here is our card, and you can see that the top of it is bowed, and we've got more of that acetate. And I like the fact that if you're going to buy a whole package, you might as well use it in some different ways. And this, can you see those gears on the inside? Very fun, in black and in gold and in brown. Let me see if I can get you an angle to see that. Okay, if you peer behind the bee, so I'm just trying to get you an angle. I can see it perfectly here. I'd love to get the light on it, but it's not cooperating. Okay, well, it's, there you go. There you can see it. And this bowed part is on the top of the card, and that's on the inside. Okay, so what she has done is she has taken the some black cardstock. You can see it's black. And let me give you the measurements. So it's going to just be our 5 by 6.5 inch card. So this piece is going to be 10 by 6.5. Score it in the center, and it will be 5 by 6.5. Now that's our card base. This bow part will be done after we get the front of our card fixed. So we're just going to be focusing on this right now. Let me turn it over just so it's clear. And you can see what's going on in there are all those gears. So let me show you what she has used. As I mentioned, she's using 3 different pieces of paper. This is the brown fireworks. I know that's just really in your face, isn't it? But I will assure you that it's going to work really, really well. And she also used the gold glitter, and that's going to be beautiful. And she also used the Black Mary. Now the Black Mary is going to be shiny, and I think you can see it inside. Very fun to have all these reflections. There you go. Okay, you can see it over here especially. So that cutting die, as I said, it's just a really beautiful piece, and that is going to do a nice job of giving you a wonderful focal for the front of the card. But what Heidi has done is she has die cut it out of each of these three materials. So the brown fireworks, the gold glitter, and the Black Mary. So all different, but all special cardstock is how I think of them. And she placed the black one down first because that's going to be her base. Then she trimmed out the top gear and the middle gears out of the gold and the hands of the clock and glued that on top. And I'll tell you how to glue it in just a second. And then, you know what? I think I can show you here. There you go. Can you see that a little better? Okay, there is our brown fireworks. Okay. And so often with a holographic, you know, this is just really in your face, but when you die cut it, you're going to get pieces of those fireworks. And that is kind of a wonderful thing to have. So she did die cut, or she did cut out this bottom, this bottom gear and glued that on top. Now, what would she use to glue? Because as you can see, this is a very, there's a lot of intricacy with this die, this beautiful die. And she does recommend using sticky specs. And sticky specs, as you may recall, you're going to get 4 sheets, and there is a liner. So you just peel back the liner, and all of the sticky specs are on the yellow area. So you put your die cut piece, just place it on top, put the liner on top, gently rub. You don't have to make it hard. And then when you lift off your die cut piece, it will already have adhesive. So you can simply place it onto your project. I would die cut out the black first and position it, then cut out the pieces of gold that you want and the brown holographic, put those pieces on here, and then you can just place them on top of the black one. It will work perfectly. They will be nice and smooth, and they will attach, and there won't be any gaps. So it's easy, easy peasy. Now you might look in there, hopefully you can see, there are some other pieces. So let me get you into that Picture Perfect pad that I brought. This is the sheet she is using. Look at all of those bees. And this is true of all of the sheets in this pack. And let me see, there are 48 of them, 12 different designs, and then you get 4 of each. So you can see there's a lot of art that you can cut apart. You can also use the back of it. We'll get to that in a minute. But before we get into the back, what Heidi did is she cut out this little bee and put it in with her, her clock. And that's just on the top of her card, okay? Now, let's talk about this piece. This piece is made with the back of this sheet. Yeah, she's going to use probably all 4 sheets. Now, this one is going to get attached to the acetate. Oh, no, it isn't. It's going to get die cut first. Okay, so you're going to cut it to fit the card. It's going to be a little bit wider, but it's going to be 6.5 inches tall. Again, the measurements are down below. So you can trim that to, then we're going to die cut it. And you're going to take the largest oval and place it in the middle of your cut piece and run it through your die cutting machine. That will work perfectly. Then you're going to take this and put it back onto the heat resistant acetate. What are we going to use? We're going to use our 1/4 inch extra sticky tape, because that works perfectly for anything that is going to get attached to something slick. So that will be attached to the acetate. And then what she has done is that this is going to get attached to her card front. So this is made a little bit wider so that you've got a tab on each side, and you can just put the extra sticky tape on that tab and attach it to the front of your card. Let it bow like this, and you can kind of see how much of a bow that is. Okay? Now, if you don't want it to bow, you can make it flatter and just adjust your size of your cutout piece. But I think you still want that oval, and you still want that acetate. That's going to do a nice job. Now, all of those little people, little bees, are part of that sheet, and you can just cut them out. And what Heidi has done is she would cut out the bee first and then do another layer, like the whole head, and then the third one would be the eyes and this piece and this piece. So those get foam taped on top. So you can see she's got one here, that bigger one, and then the medium one, and that's the tiny one inside. The buzzing for your birthday, that's also in that same sheet. That has been glued. This is also part of the brown ribbons, again, just used so well. These are foam taped, and then of course this is glued. The other pieces are foam taped. Now, as I said, with anything in the look of steampunk, the copper is going to work beautifully. So she has taken, actually not these, but she took the thin line colorful dazzles. There is a copper sheet, and isn't that a neat little corner treatment? So she's done with the thin line at the upper left and lower right, and she's also used the copper jewel dazzles on the ends and in the center. So it just adds a little decorative touch. She's got some jewel dazzles up here too. So very, very nice. And okay, now we're going to go to the inside of our card, which is black. And she has taken another piece, because you don't use the whole sheet, and cut out a piece. And look how cleverly she has lined that with the thin line copper dazzles. Isn't that pretty? Just on two sides, and then echoed it with a smaller treatment in the corner. Now, this is that other sheet, that other part. Remember the little bee? So she's used each of these, but she did one to go right here. There is another of the clock. And there is, now there I can give you a good look of the brown fireworks holographic. There you go. You can see how that just really shines. And we've got another little guy right there and another one right here. Now the Sending Smiles, that is from our Sending Smiles Dazzles. And you get this in multiple colors, black, white, gold, and silver. Obviously, the gold she has used here. These little decorative elements, those are part of the same Dazzle selection. So just a really fun card, but we are not quite done, because the other thing she did was to use the gold ink pad. Right. Now, she did use it with a blender brush. And when you are doing the inside of a card, you will probably want to turn your card like so. Then you can, place this on a craft mat and then dip into this and do your rubbing right along there. And you can see she was more heavily on the corners and lighter along the borders. She did the same thing on the front of the card, and you can see it right there, all the borders. Same idea, a little bit heavier on the corners, lighter in the center. And that just works really well. I was concerned that you may have trouble getting that ink off of your blender brush, but I did this and it just came right off. So that was not a problem, and it also lifted right off my craft mat. So a very different look. Okay, I've got another very different look for you. Here is this, and boy, I love the kitty. And you can see that there are some glitter cardstock behind it. And yes, this is that clock, that same cutting die used in a very different way. Okay, let me show you what the sheet looks like. Here it is. So that's got our kitty. Have a perfect day. And you can see all the variations. And just to give you a look, there's some others that are in there that are just really, really fun. Okay, you already saw the turtle in the last project, and there's also just so many things. They're just absolutely wonderful. Now, this card is a 5-inch square card, and Heidi also did this out of black cardstock. So you're going to have a 10-inch by 5-inch piece, score it in the middle, and we're going to have the fold at the top. Okay, let me see. Let me get a piece of white cardstock to put under this, just so that you can see it a little more easily. There we go. Okay. Now, she has taken the teal glitter cardstock, very pretty, and cut a piece slightly smaller than her card front, her 5x5. And she took that same die, and I love the fact that she has, of course, you can use it straight, and that's perfect. But I love how she cut it apart in the last project. In this project, she has die cut it simply out of black cardstock, although I would love to see it out of that black Miri, and cut it apart to be a background on top of the glitter. And I think that's very clever. Nice way to use a die like this, and very interesting. Okay, now we are going to go to our little kitty and cut this piece out. Now it's going to be a little bit smaller, as you can see, and she did mat it on the black and then foam taped it onto the front of her card. Now, about these other pieces, where did they come from? Well, they came from Bohemian Dreams. Now this is paper towel, which means they are die cut. You can see all of those pieces that come true, dreams. Well, there they are, dreams that come true. How fun is that? There's also butterflies, some flowers, lots of pieces on here, and they are also foiled. And you can see how that foiling really captures the light. So what she has done is she has placed them on top. She has foam taped the individual pieces on top, that one and that one. And I see a bee. Now this bee, little stray bee, I'm thinking, is also right there from the previous project. Now the sparkles that she has, this is the monochromatic, so you can see them from white to black. Obviously the white ones that she's used some here and on the butterfly. So that's just a really interesting mix of products. And on the inside, okay, so she has cut another piece of the teal glitter cardstock, not to cover the whole piece, but just to go a little more than half. There are some more of the cutting die, and that time she did it out of this. This is the gold embossed cardstock. It's really paper, but you see it's embossed. It comes like this, and it's quite special. It is an 8.5 by 11, so you're going to get a lot of space out of it. And that was placed right at an angle. I don't think she cut it apart. It's just the one piece. But this is coming back from the paper towel. And it's got the teal color that she's used. It's also got some reds and purples. And you can see right there, have a perfect day. Well, that is off the sheet that she has elected to cut apart. Clever. Added more of those crystals. And very fun. You can see the little guy is just peeking. Now, she did mat that on the black also, and did foam tape that in place. And just quite lovely. Very, very different look, but very sweet. I like the dreams that come true on it, and I love the Have a Perfect Day. Very fun. Okay, well, you can see that you can get a lot out of the Animal Arcadia. There's 2 of them that we didn't use, but gives you some ideas. The Picture Perfect pad and that amazing cutting die, the Clockwork and Cogs. All of these from our friends at Hunkydory, and all of them here at Paper Wishes. Now, there is a money saver. It's on the right side of your screen. If you want to, you can save some money on getting the whole collection, and why wouldn't you want the whole collection? And there's also, as I said, directions down below. Just click on any of the cards and you'll see it. That's also on the right side of your screen. If you're watching us on YouTube, I hope that you will like us. Give me a comment. I hope you're as excited about these as I am. And I do need to tell you that we only get a selected amount of products. So when they're gone, because Hunkydory only does one press run of everything that they do. So that's a limited amount. And I do want to thank you for watching us. I want to thank Heidi for making some amazing projects. And mostly, thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you next time.